Lord, your word is truth. Sanctify us by truth. A man who was drunk, not a drunken monk, a man who was drunk, as he was coming out, he saw two priests walking. So he went to them and said, I am Jesus Christ. And the priest said, no way. No, you are not. The man said, he kept insisting, no, I am Jesus Christ. The priest said, no, you are not. The man said, just watch. And he went back to the bar. As he walked into the bartender said, Jesus Christ, he is back again. Well, my dear brothers and sisters, today we are going to consume both the species or Eucharist in both forms. And hopefully you are not going to get drunk. And when Jesus offered his body and blood, they said, is he a cannibal? He is telling us to eat his body, drink his blood. Where are we? What is happening? And today, my dear friends, we'll be having this beautiful ceremony of washing of the feet. Soiling our feet is calling to priesthood. Soiling our feet is calling to live Eucharistically. Soiling our feet is a call to love. When from Egypt people were freed and they went to the promised land, they crossed the Red Sea. You know, when they crossed, their legs were not wet. And after which they crossed Jordan also. You read in Prophet Joshua chapter 3, they'll be crossing Jordan. You know, the Lord gives the instruction. He calls the priest, he calls the Levites. He tells them to carry the Ark of the Covenant. Ark of the Covenant in the New Testament is the tabernacle. People carry the Ark of the Covenant. And the priest have to stand at the edge of the river Jordan, keeping their feet wet in the water. And as they carry the Ark of the Covenant, people have to pass through the Ark of the Covenant. And the Lord allowed the people to cross, and their legs remained dry. Whereas the priests, their legs were wet in the water. It has a little bit of significance to our reading and our celebration today. Jesus calls his 12 and he washes their feet. And Peter refuses. Why? It is the same Peter in the Gospel of John. He says, get away from me, Jesus, for I am a sinner. And I'm not worthy that you touch my feet and wash. You know why? Because the Jews did the washing for 3 reasons. One is for hygiene. And I suppose all our young people have washed their legs enough, clean. And it's a hygiene when they all travel in a dusty, hilly countries in Palestine. When they come home, their legs are being washed. And it's a sign of hospitality. I come to your house, and my legs are being washed with warm water. And it is all done by a slave. Not the master of the house, but the slave does it. Washes and he kisses and he shows as a sign of welcome. And also entering into the temple. You know, the Jews, when they enter into the temple, they wash as a sign of cleansing. That's what we do as we come in. We go to the font, holy water, and we dip and says the sign of the cross, reminding that we need to be washed of our sins, reminding of our baptism. When they crossed Jordan, it was a celebration of baptism. When they crossed the Red Sea, it was once again a reminder for us that we are passing over. Their children were spared. The firstborn were spared. God showed mercy. And they crossed from slavery to a promised land, from death to life. In Egypt, they were dying. God brought them to a life-giving source. But today, we are going to do the washing of the feet, as I said. And Peter says, just not my feet, wash my whole body from top to bottom, that I may be cleansed. And Jesus says, It is not required. And today, my dear friends, as Jesus washed, and he says, do as I have done to you. I have washed. You call me master, you call me Lord, you call me good shepherd, you call me prophet, you do. And if I am washing your feet, you also go and do the same. Do as I have done. And I have shown you an example. You'll be remembering the story of the Good Samaritan. Jesus says, the priest goes, he does nothing. The Levite passes, he does nothing. A Samaritan comes and he cares for this dying man, takes him. And who is the one who does God's work? The Samaritan. And Jesus says, you also go and do the same. Care for the dying. And they were untouchables. Samaritans don't touch the Jews. Jews were in high grade. And Samaritans were a mixed breed. From Assyrians and Jews mixed, they were called Samaritans. So Jews cannot talk. When Jesus was talking to the women in the Gospel of John, we read in the 4th chapter, to the Samaritan women, and how can, you are a Jew, how can you ask water from me? I am a Samaritan. And Jesus, that story goes, that Samaritan cares for the man. You also go and do the same. And again we go to the third experience of Jesus breaking the bread, taking the chalice, giving the bread and passing on the wine. He says, do this in memory of me. So 3 things that all of us have to remember, especially our young youth of our parish, that you are called to do these great 3 mysteries. Do as I have done, bending down, bowing, and washing the feet of the other. The gospel today talks about these things. Jesus got up from the table. Now, when we are interested in doing something very interesting, and the work is on progress, we don't want to be distracted. Doing our paper, or studying for the exams, or watching a beautiful serial in the television. We don't want to be distracted. We don't attend telephone calls. We don't want anybody else. Jesus got up from the table, distracting himself. He was eating his meal, a grand, solemn meal, Passover meal, a very rich meal. He got up from the table. He was ready to be disturbed. He left his food, took off his outer robe. The outer robe stands for royalty. Jesus took off his royalty, tied a towel round himself, sign of a slave, ready to work, ready to do anything, a sign of a slave. Pouring water, we know water signs a symbol of purity. It is clean by itself and it cleanses. And Jesus washes the disciples' feet. A leader, master, becoming a servant, becoming a slave. And Jesus changes the whole concept of leadership. Jesus' leadership is a servant leadership. And today, my dear friends, this is the message for our young people, the future of the church. I get sometimes worried. What is going to be the future of our church in the world where young people are busy outside? There are so many things. It's a long weekend. Oh, let us go out for let us go spend time. Long weekend is given for the celebration of the Triduum, Easter celebration. It is not to go and celebrate. Yes, we need to celebrate life, but why Monday is a holiday? Because of Easter celebration, not to get out of all these. And we are reminded today, and today, my dear friends, we are called to believe that all of us are chosen through baptism. If we want to be a disciple, be ready to be washed. If we want to be his disciple, ready to stretch out your leg. And that is what Jesus calls us. Ready to be broken, ready to be shared. And what are our young people going to do? What are we going to do today? We are also called to get up from the table, get out, ready to be disturbed, ready for the other, ready to serve. Take off our robe, the pride, the dignity that we have, selfishness, our extravagance, luxury of life. We live in a culture of use and throw and throw and throw. Bottles, papers, plates, keep on throwing. How much of garbage, tons and tons of clothes, every year, keep on buying and buying. We are called to take off our robe, to live a simple lifestyle. And the Lord is inviting us to tie a towel around us, ready to serve, ready to be a slave, ready to break our comfort zone, to be at the service of the other, to be at the beck and call of the other. We are called to pour water, ready to take risk, ready to take risk. We are called to wash the feet of the other, called to be ready to sacrifice. And these are the lost virtues, and Jesus is reminding us today. And He gives this bread, and He invites us to break, to share, and to give. Faith is stretching our legs to Jesus. Mercy is stretching our hands out to others. Faith is stretching our legs to Jesus to wash our legs. And mercy, in turn, is stretching our hands in the service of the other. Let us pray for this grace through this Eucharist. Amen.